It's better over here.
After investing billions to light up our network, T-Mobile is America's largest 5G network. Plus, right now, you can switch, keep your phone, and we'll pay it off up to $800. See how you can save on every plan versus Verizon and AT&T at T-Mobile.com/keep-and-switch.
Up to 4 lines via virtual prepaid card. Allow 15 days. Qualifying unlocked device credit service ported 90-plus days with device and eligible carrier and timely redemption required. Card has no cash access and expires in 6 months.
Let your imagination soar with Audible. With stories across every genre, from expert advice to fantasy, you'll be inspired to imagine new worlds, possibilities, and ways of thinking. Listening can even lead to a positive change in your mood, habits, and overall well-being. As an Audible member, you'll get to choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog, including bestsellers and new releases. Allow yourself to delve into the spooky this season by listening to classics like Stephen King's The Shining and Pet Sematary. There's more to imagine when you listen. New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/imagine or text imagine to 500-500. That's audible.com/imagine or text imagine to 500-500.
Hello, welcome. Let's chat. It's hard. You want to talk? I know, that's disappointing. Sit back. Let's work this out. How's it going? What are we doing here? Where are you going? Hey there. Wow. It's not always easy. It's amazing if you think about it. Let's think about this. Strange. I have some thoughts about that. Life is hard. Trauma bonded.
He's dating an adorable sister who's also an adorable stripper. And she has an adorable sister. And she's also an adorable stripper. 2 adorable sisters who are also 2 adorable strippers. I feel like this could be a show.
He's dating an adorable stripper, and she has an adorable sister, who's also an adorable stripper. Something.
That's exactly what I did.
No, that's not. Does it seem that way?
A little bit.
Listeners? It's like a Three's Company kind of thing. There's something there.
I imagine a laugh track, 3-camera laugh track, like going back to old school sitcom making.
Yeah.
None of this talking head meta shit. What do we title it, though? Because that's way too long of a title. Sister strippers. Adorable sisters.
Adorable sister strippers. Ass. There it is.
The ass. Welcome to Trauma Bonded. I'm Elly Westberg here with Therese Garcia.
Hello.
And today we're discussing episode 335 of the podcast. This is actually happening. What if you were left for dead? A brief. Brandon grows up with a loving mother and father and is also neurodivergent. He discovers the pleasure of sexual touching at a young age and seems to pursue that dopamine hit for the next decades. His pursuit of pleasure causes him guilt, and then he uses drugs to alleviate that guilt. He builds himself a terrible little crippling cycle that keeps repeating itself in different ways. He becomes some sort of Oklahoman drug kingpin at only 17, and eventually he falls in deep relationship with 2 characters who will later drug, rape, torture, and leave him for dead. He survives that dark time and now attempts to live in healing despite his immense physical pain. And full disclosure, I am the showrunner for This Is Actually Happening, and T knows nothing about anything. She comes in fresh. And this show, Trauma/Bonded, is for the listeners, a space where we can talk about each episode, digest it, and reflect on it with empathy and also a bit of levity. That's Trauma Bonded. T, what stuck out to you as the heart of Brandon's story?
Why don't we start with you today? We always start with me.
Well,
Oh.
yeah, okay. I have more song.
Oh.
Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Everybody! Our God is a... No?
Oh. All right.
You know the song?
I can't. And I don't know the song.
Okay, great. That song was written by
God?
a person.
Jesus?
What's that guy's name?
The Holy Spirit?
It was written by Rich Mullins. And then, okay, so you heard the lyrics from that, right? Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above, wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. He drove off a cliff,
Oh my God.
in a Jeep.
Why?
Because dog was with him.
Well, why? Why did he do that?
I don't think he meant to.
Oh no. It was an accident?
But it's interesting in the context of this song. Like, as he's careening over the edge, the song is just black.
Is he an awesome God?
I'm kidding. I am kidding. And I'm sorry. I probably am being a bit mocking. I do think that Brandon might think that that's the heart of the story. Right?
Oh. Yeah.
But I think it is about our will and how our will is an incredible force. You know, he could have laid down and like succumbed to his injuries, but he kept dragging himself forward. It's like there's a little tidbit. It wasn't included in the episode, but when he does tell us later that when he is found by this police officer, he's like minutes from death. Like he really is on his last leg. So to pull yourself through these fields and up these fences and around these, and you're naked and your penis is all fucked up. Like, I really do. I admire his will. And I think that that's what the heart is about. That's the heart of the story. I guess I'm not really sure.
I like what you're saying about his will. And why would the car accident song? Is it because he might still believe that as he's careening off the cliff?
I think it's fascinating when Christians go through something that's this dire and their takeaway is something like, isn't God good? What's the heart? What did you think the heart of Brandon's story was, T?
Yes, I went with one word for the heart today.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of religion.
I have a feeling we're going to speak a lot of religion today.
We might. I mean, he does, so we might. But I went with communion.
Oh, communion.
So I went
fancy word for Eucharist.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I liked about it was the whole community idea, the commune idea. But like that connection you have, right, with God, despite all suffering and things. Also, communion being obviously the body and blood of Christ, our Lord and Savior, and how he sacrificed his own life. What are the words? I forget.
Sinners?
For us sinners.
Uh-huh.
And then, and then the drug, communion.
There's a communion drug?
Well, the Eucharist, when he gives him the
drug
in the form of the Eucharist.
I mean, I just assume this is like clever nerds sitting around like naming whatever they come up with like hijacking Catholic terms for it. Can't you imagine? They're like, oh, we have this chalice and because they're real nerdy. Like, what do we combine? We lace the cup with LSD and then we mix together like sangria and mushrooms or something, whatever it is that they're making. We call it the Eucharist.
There's like a ritual aspect to it. I think the whole drug thing.
Yeah. I guess there is a ritual.
There's something
aspect
there.
I mean,
yeah.
You could say when you're drinking socially and taking a shot together or pop camaraderie, that is a, what did you call it? Ritual. Yes.
Right.
Sorry. I am triggered by that word because it's the word I misspelled in the regional spelling bee in 5th grade.
Really?
Remember, I told you, and I got out on the first round. It was such a big deal.
Oh.
I was 5th grade. I beat 5th and 6th graders.
Oh my God.
We went to the regional. Everyone came. The principal, the school came. My teacher came. My parents came. I got out round 1. Ritual.
Really?
Yeah. Still upset about
Ritual.
it. Ugh.
Unneighborly. I feel like we've already talked about this, but that was my word that got me in. Like, I think I won.
Oh. So not exactly.
Right, the opposite.
Mine. Anyways, yes, there is a ritual to doing drugs together, to drinking together, whether we acknowledge it or not. There is this whole like, see you on the other side, man.
Yeah, that I think that drugs do more than, I mean, alcohol will do too, I guess, but
yeah,
that altered state of consciousness you get with like a hallucinogen or something where you don't even know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you might have almost a religious experience.
Truly.
Yeah. So
he's got a loving mother and father who seem to make bad decisions all throughout his episode. I'm sure we'll come for them. He's neurodivergent, and it feels, and we don't have to get into this too deeply, but it sounds like a lot of that was around compulsion or OCD. He talks about being repetitive in nature. And that probably helps lead to this little cycle that he sets up for himself, right? He plays this best friend. We don't know if that's a boy or a girl. I don't think it matters. I think if you're little and you touch each other, that's normal, and just curiosity and exploration. That's normal, right? That's normal and okay. I'm asking for a friend, question mark.
I think, yeah, there's a curiosity there. And
right?
Yeah, I don't know much about that. You know, when people, like, kids will play doctor or something.
Right.
And like, oh, yeah, we play next doctor. And you're like, okay,
Yeah.
is this right? Or should we not be doing that? Don't react. That's one thing.
Definitely don't react. But then
just stay frozen as you talk about it.
You did what? You did what?
Wow.
Well, it's fun. Okay.
Remember how we talked about privates being private?
Yeah. And anyway, we don't know if it's right or wrong. Come at us.
Maybe it's a natural thing. Maybe not right or wrong. It's like a natural curiosity.
I think so.
But we need to privatize our privates.
We need to make sure that people's privates aren't getting touched by others when they don't want it. Or at all, like kids.
Probably because they can't consent.
Yeah, there needs to be some guidance. There has to be guidance around it.
Well, maybe not. Let's not do that.
Well, at any rate, it opened a door because when you experience sexual things and you've been told in your church your whole life that that's wrong, wrong, a billion times with it, it's wrong, and there's never any explanation to you as to why it's wrong but why does it feel good? Like, none of these things are ever explained to a kid.
It's confusing.
Just put into secrecy and shame. So
it feels good because it's a trick, Elly.
Right. It's the devil playing a trick on you.
I'm trying to make you feel good, but you can't be doing that.
So it feels good. And then that leads to guilt because, I'm feeling good about this dirty, deep, like awful thing that I shouldn't be enjoying. And then you have to cope. And that's when the drugs come in. And it is a cycle. And this is what religion does to us, is it takes something completely normal and natural, perverts it, makes it into a thing that's sinful. I mean, not even just sinful, like putting stakes on it so deep that you may spend eternity in hell. Right? That's kind of some major stakes to give a kid.
That's big.
And so, of course, you're going to have this huge guilt, which is a terrible thing. You don't know what to do with as a kid. So you're going to find ways to cope. And it's just a terrible snake eating itself. There's no learning. There's no growing. There's no curiosity or discovery in religion. Everything is just ruined by the concept of sin. Period.
I feel like
I'm not mad.
You've thought about this.
Well, I just hated that people can't just be curious about themselves or the world anymore without it being shrouded in some shameful thing.
Yeah, it's a sin. Don't talk about it. Don't think it.
Definitely don't act on it. And if you are...
Well, definitely don't act on it.
And if you are, just keep praying about it, that God will give you relief from it. But don't talk about it because we want people to think that you're okay. So you can be in positions of leadership where you're telling the same lies to other people younger than you. We got to keep all of this going. So that's the secrecy is part of it, I think.
Wow, but that's how they keep it going with the kids. They get older, then it just keeps going like that.
These unfulfillable expectations for a child. Be like Christ. Here, be like Christ. Also, it's impossible for you to be like Christ. Good luck.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Everything's impossible. You feel guilt the whole time. All I do is feel guilt all the time now. And then that's your life.
And then you spend your whole life trying to escape that guilt.
It's like that guilt plus, weirdly, entitlement.
Mm.
Guilt on the inside, entitlement on the outside, maybe.
And an obsession with money.
Is that there too?
It's all right there. I mean, everything this guy has is classic, raised in a terrible church situation.
Oh, yeah. And he's like making money through his illegal activity.
Yeah. He talks about how he discovers the black market to make money. And he's in church and he understands morality and he understands God and he wants all of that too because he's told that that's your way to peace and joy, etc. But he just couldn't be good enough. And this is all where all of this problem lies. You know, and I don't want to get into dogma, but it's just it's impossible expectations to put on a kid. We've gone through it. We know what it feels like. We would never do it to other children. I think it's just terrible. I think as much as I could say church protected me from some things, I would say that that darkness, that shame, that guilt, that secrecy also hurt me in a lot of ways as a kid.
Yeah, no, totally. Because maybe you're protected in that you're not like exposed to actual things in the real world and stuff. But there's a safety at home, you know. Yeah.
If the issues are put a kid in a home where the parents are kind and there's this level of peace and security, etc., and there's no smoking, no drinking, no cussing, no dancing, I don't know, whatever, however you want to go. But there's safety and there's comfort.
That's about the dancing, I think.
Some people hang their hat on the dancing, cards, gambling, beer, whatever. But there's safety, there's peace, there's love. Mm-hmm. You know, that to me, that's more desirable than putting a kid in a situation where everything's too free and maybe there's drug use happening or like a bevy of like sexual partners coming in the house where there is unsure or unsafety or something. But no God, I'm always going to choose the other household. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but could there be no God in the safe household?
Of course.
Oh, okay. I like that one.
When in conflict, I'll pick the one that just offers more consistency and love, you know?
Yeah.
Both houses are going to produce some damage in their kids, you know, it's inevitable. But I guess if I had to pick between the two, I'd rather a kid be sheltered as much as possible, protected as much as possible.
Either way, you're going to therapy.
And indoctrinated.
Yeah.
At least I feel like maybe it's easier to undo indoctrination than it is to do. I don't know. I know I'm just talking. I don't know.
I agree, though. I mean, as a kid, I was obviously sheltered.
Yeah.
But I like having a kid just know the kid things for now. Live like a kid. Not have to think about all the stresses of everything else.
Yes.
As they get older, maybe introducing those things little by little. But yeah, if it's in your face, like criminal stuff or multiple partners or abuse or
it's heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to navigate that as a kid. You're like, how am I supposed to? Yeah. I lean towards that as well.
But it seems like Brandon definitely has this version of Christianity of, I want to please a God. That seems to be clear to me. Is that clear to you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he knows he couldn't be good enough. He gets booted out of school. And to teach him a lesson, his parents sort of impose this solitary confinement situation on him in his bedroom where they strip out everything and just leave the mattress and his window. What do you think about, and he said he was 12, maybe when 7. What do you think about that kind of parenting at that age?
I would say no to that. He's going to go crazy, especially at that age. You've got a lot going on in your brain. And he's neurodivergent. Not having any kind of stimuli at all, I feel like would make you physically and mentally just crazed.
What do you think the parents thought they were doing for him?
Is it like a punishment? Like a punishment and then he couldn't do damage or something?
Yeah, maybe they didn't understand what being neurodivergent was then, but they don't realize. I don't think they realized how cruel they were being to him. I think they were thinking, oh, like this traditional way that you punish a kid, right, is, oh, you were bad, so I will take your stuff that you love away from you.
That sounds awful, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's particularly cruel. I mean, it's weird because there are instances where I'll watch on reality TV or something that like this teenage kid is just being like fucking horrible to their parents. And in my mind, the first thing that would go is their phone.
Right. Yeah.
You're sending me all these nasty texts or you're standing there on your phone, not engaging our conversation. Like, I do actually have some power here. Like, I pay that bill.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can stop that. That feels measured to me.
Yeah.
They're definitely not going to abuse me with a thing I pay for. That is not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like the way that people really used to like teach kids is to really try to hurt them. And that doesn't feel like a way to teach kids a lesson.
It seems like they kind of locked him in there too. It just feels like very like you're going in a padded room. Yeah, it wouldn't be the way I'd want to discipline my child.
It's just, I guess, and this was back, so if he was born in 80, what do you say, 88?
84.
84. So this would have been like 96. I mean, there still really wasn't phone. There really wasn't internet. There was some, but not so much. But I don't know. It never feels like his parents actually make this effort to talk to him about why he does the things that he does.
Isn't that part of the whole Christian thing? Let's not talk about it.
That's the biggest part of Christianity is let's not talk about it.
Oh, okay.
So anyways, he's bored as fuck in his room. And if they were pushing him to be so desperate that he want to go to church camp, they have succeeded in this effort because the pastor shows up at the house and says, hey, we're going to church camp. And he's like,
Anything.
I will go. Because at least I can look at cute girls and and gawk at me, which is a big plus of church camp.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So much gawking. And it's going to go, and the girl's going to think it's cute. It's going to flirt. Yeah, I can imagine it completely.
Weren't you a youth pastor?
Huh?
Weren't you a youth pastor? Not a youth. No, I mean, didn't you go to, no. Weren't you like at those camps? No, you're the youth.
I led 30 youths in missions in Russia.
What's your position name?
I guess I was a leader of sorts at times.
You're a youth leader?
Yeah.
Wow. You put that on your resume?
Fuck you.
This Halloween, ghoul all out with Instacart. Whether you're hunting for the perfect costume, eyeing that giant bag of candy, or casting spells with eerie decor, we've got it all in one place. Download the Instacart app and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Plus, enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum $10 per order. Service fees, other fees, and additional terms apply. Instacart, bringing the store to your door this Halloween.
Getting the smile and confidence you've been dreaming about, all from the comfort of your home, isn't a total mystery with Byte clear aligners. Just don't be surprised if all your friends start asking, what's your secret? Begin by ordering your at-home impression kit today for only $14.95. Byte clear aligners are doctor-directed and delivered to your door. Treatment costs thousands less than braces, plus they offer flexible financing, accept eligible insurance, and you can pay with your HSA FSA. Get 80% off your impression kit when you use code WONDERY at Byte.com. That's BYTE.com. Start your confidence journey today with Byte.
So he thinks he's going to just be cute. And what happens? He gets
Oh my gosh, yeah.
motherfucking spirit, which
What?
everyone's had. And
What is that? I was really trying to figure out. What is that?
being slain in the spirit,
Yeah,
I think it like what causes people to fall out.
it's crazy.
I think it's just a collective consciousness. It's like everyone's in one. It's like the power of, hundreds of voices together.
So physical.
I know it is.
Is it like a hypnosis type thing or?
I don't know, but I've felt it. It's real. It's a real thing.
I understand the power of the collective, I wonder if it is like a hypnosis thing. Because I've seen that too. And I'm like, what's going on?
It's like an energy thing. It's like, I don't know. But you fall out and you feel high. You feel euphoric. And you wake up and you feel, or you come to, I should say, and you feel fucking great. You feel like you could conquer the world. And he feels this too. He says he stays clean for a couple of years. And he rises in the ranks to hot Christian leader. And he's got a prayer carpet and it's on fire. Feels like fire. And then all of a sudden, where's God? And he really just got bored. Because church or something like a church camp or something like a revival, it's there to like pump you up and like it's very emotional. It's very manipulative. It's like get you in the mood. and everyone thinks and believes like you in the space. And so it's really safe and it feels like everyone's on the same page and there's like power in that sort of community and like point of view. And you feel good because you've been told your whole life you're a sinning dog and you deserve hell if it weren't for Jesus. But this place makes you feel good, like God's giving you the good stuff, you know, so you feel worthy and you feel separate, you feel better than everyone else. And you're just, it's like, it's this rigmarole. It makes you feel real good. And I'm surprised he made it last for 2 years, you know.
I know. I was
people-
like, maybe we should re-up, right? Do it every 6 months or something?
Yeah. And then he finds a new type of drug. You think he's talking in this pill? Think he's talking about ecstasy?
I was wondering, yeah. I guess so.
And he's like, this is better than church.
This is way better than
Because I
that.
feel good and I can make money. And this kid, Brandon, he's just about one dopamine hit to the next. And my question for you is, how can you get your kids their dopamine hit from like solving an equation or
I know, right?
winning first place at the debate meet or first place in their speech competition? Like,
Is that what you got?
I just like you. If kids get obsessed with quote unquote dopamine hits, it seems like he got interested in the wrong ones.
Right. But the math equation, I don't think does it.
I felt pretty good solving a math equation.
I felt pretty good too.
See, I mean, to me, this is what saving a kid from their teenage years is all about. It's steering them from the bad set of dopamine hits to the good set of dopamine hits. Like, this is it.
Yeah. So for me, it was like sports, really. I played sports all year round.
I mentioned debate.
Right. Exactly the same thing. But also, I don't know. I guess did you have people like cheering for you and stuff? And I don't know what debate.
Other people and your team cheered for you at the award ceremony at the end of the day.
That's nice. I mean, we had like weekly game. We had daily practice where you're running around all the time. So that you have that, right? You have that whole physical
cutting paper.
The arm workout. Yeah.
You had to carry a lot of stuff.
Fine motor skills and whatnot.
Learn how to flip your pen.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
You are really good at that.
Thank you.
Did you get a dopamine spike from that?
I went to debate camp. Oh,
I still think about my sports days. And I think that's why, like, after when I stopped playing sports, I was like, I need something else.
Drugs and drinking.
Yeah. And those helped.
Yeah. He gets student of the year.
Wow.
And someone upline from him.
Never heard that word, by the way. I like it.
Some OD and bitch. And he gets blamed. And as he's an entrepreneur, he had extra on him, and that's how he gets arrested and ultimately grounded. He has to go in front of a judge. And he talks about how he had all these desires, but nowhere to put it, right? So he just keeps selling drugs. And it's just so unfortunate that he's in a private Christian school where seemingly maybe resources to help him are all around him.
Mm-hmm.
But that just shows how it's so much lip service and that kids aren't actually encouraged to ask for help ever. It is quite the opposite. There's always this new expectation put on you. This is how you have to be. This is who you have to be. And you just got student of the year, so you better fucking act like that. You can't ever show that you have problems. You know? That
literally just got it.
Yeah, terrible pressure to put on a kid. He's getting E from Europe.
Yeah, there's a whole thing. I was like, this is crazy. How do you even coordinate something like that? It's amazing.
I mean, I couldn't do it now.
I know. We're talking about...
I wouldn't know the first person to call. I wouldn't know where to go.
And the internet is just starting up right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I think this is interesting. When you work in criminal circles, you think everyone is a criminal. And probably everyone is. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, these circles sort of run with each other. Like, it's not just normal that you're going to meet an adorable stripper and be driven to clubs at 17 and asked to sell your good European ecstasy at a good price. Like, this isn't a normal world. You gotta go to some places to find this world. So I probably couldn't. You might have been able to find it in San Francisco. There's no way I'm finding it in Osceola, fucking Indiana. But he's a kingpin now.
Yeah.
17, and he meets Crystal for the first time. She's slinging pure MDNA and
What'd you say?
what I say?
Pure what?
MDNA. What did I say it wrong? What is it?
MDMA.
What'd I say?
MDNA?
That's not what it is?
That's MDMA.
Okay, druggy. What'd I spell?
I don't know, something with DNA, like MDNA. It's like in your DNA, man.
MDNA. Oh, that's
This is better than MDMA.
Wow.
It's MDNA. No,
So-
MDNA.
shows how much little I know.
Funny.
He's like in love with her instantly. She's professional. She pats him down. She checks out his car. She's with an Amish guy. That's weird. Like he's turned on, and she's gonna give him this little scavenger hunt to.
This sounded awesome.
First of all, T, you're going to the Coney Islander.
That sounds great.
Now, I know, and probably most of our listeners they forgot that he was in Oklahoma, and they thought, oh, Coney Island, the park in New York City.
No, Coney Islander.
But no, she's sending him to a place called Coney Islander, which is a famous place in Tulsa for Coney dogs. So you're still excited that you're getting to go. First you're sending me to get a Coney dog? Okay. Anyways, he passes. He gets a bunch of info. They tell him all about how they're nerds and they have this like operation going. And he knows that he's getting told too much because now he's in.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you. How do you launder money in a casino?
I don't know. Yeah, I thought maybe you might know.
I mean, if you don't win it back, then you've just spent drug money at a casino, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get that. Usually you launder money at like
a place you know
car
you're going to get
wash
the
or
money
something.
back. Cute. You just know that from Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
In the normal places, they do it on TV, a car wash. How are you going to get the money back from a casino? I mean, there's no guarantee at all. In fact, it's guarantee you're going to lose the money. That just seemed insane to me.
But you've got a lot of it.
This adorable stripper is mad because he breaks up with her. So Brandon's hanging out with Crystal and Gordon Todd Skinner. Todd's the Amish. He asks Todd, can I date your friend? Like it's some honor thing, which is weird. Don't you think that was weird?
Yeah, I thought that was weird, but maybe I'm still confused about their relationship with everything going on.
It sounds like they had one themselves.
Yeah.
This interview with Brandon was so long. It was like 6 hours long. Like there's so
Really?
much information.
The source detail.
Like, you can look up, you guys, if you could do a deep dive on this Crystal person and this Gordon Todd Skinner person, there's a ton of stuff on the web about it. In the episode, T, that you didn't hear, Whit actually adds, he reads some stuff about who this Gordon Todd Skinner is for the audience so that you get an idea of really how big he was in this drug world. But he was responsible for like the majority of LSD being in this country for like a handful of years or something. I don't know. He's like a big deal. He's like a big deal in this world. And Crystal, I watched a little bit of a little Vice interview with Crystal. Like she was a big deal in this world. Like if you want to go down a rabbit hole, you can.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, he said his whole name and I was like, oh, is that somebody that we all know? I didn't know this person.
Gordon Todd Skinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a known in these circles.
I'll check out that interview.
Crystal is Brandon's soulmate, and she tells him about a dark side of Todd, and Todd's attitude is starting to change. And Brandon goes to his father and says, I'm scared. Can I have a gun? And his dad gives him a gun.
Huh. Cool. All sounds normal to me.
And I don't want to know what's going on.
But
Don't
here's
tell
your
me.
gun.
But here's the gun. Crystal gets kidnapped by Todd. She escapes. There's this whole thing about how Crystal and Todd are narcs, and the upline is the government. There's a lot. They go to the police about Todd, right? They're counter surveilling Todd.
Yeah.
Anyways, Todd finds out, so it's not a good
It
idea.
should be a movie.
Yeah, it's if you narrowed it down to its hard bits, yeah. So, but basically, the point here of this section is Crystal tells Brandon that he's a loser, and Brandon is starting to lose trust in Todd. So there's this breakdown that's happening in this trifecta of a relationship. Crystal's turned cold. She's being frank with Brandon, telling him that he's basically a succubus who contributes nothing. Todd is acting really friendly, but Brandon doesn't trust him, and he should probably have felt that feeling.
No, but don't trust your gut.
Never trust your gut.
Just trust Todd.
Just trust Todd. So one night, Todd offers him a Eucharist. We don't know what this is. It's just nerds thinking they're clever with hijacking the Christian language. And Brandon passes out basically and wakes up hog-tied, and Todd's kicking him. Todd slices.
Kicking him in the groin.
Yeah, he's got this weird
thing with,
right?
It's very much focused.
It's really going for the penis.
Yes.
He cuts his penis open. He ejects his balls with gangrene. And Brandon is in excruciating pain. The driver, Bill, breaks his nose. Like, he wakes up in a car in pain. There's a driver who's surprised to see him wake up, I guess, and just socks him.
You're awake.
Yeah. And then they finally say, Brandon, so the next day, whatever, he wakes up, he's in terrible pain. He's all fucked up. Like, he's obviously fucked up. And this is so fucked because they're like, Brandon, you stupid fucking loser. You did too many drugs and ruined everyone's night. And he's like, so not only is he in pain, but then they're like gaslighting him into making it his fault somehow.
I'm not the one that did all that slicing and dicing.
And as a person who has been told they've ruined someone else's night, I feel personally offended by this.
Yeah.
He's tortured, raped, anally probed by the Easter Bunny. And also, how are they taking him in and out of hotel rooms and in and out of cars, and he's stark naked and hogtied and bleeding and in pain? How are they making all of these transitions? Where is he going?
What's that movie again? With the guy who's dead, and they're walking him around the beach.
Weekend at Bernie's?
Yeah, like,
I don't like him.
Are they Weekend at Bernie'sing him?
It's weird. How are
There's
they?
a lot going on.
Where are they taking him?
There's so much movement.
Where? Yeah. Why are they going?
What's the plan?
Be in a hotel room or wherever.
Yeah, that's all you gotta do.
Yeah. How are they not being seen? Again, they're in and around. I don't know where this DoubleTree is, but it's clearly not in a good neighborhood. And they're in and around circles where they can do this shit out in the open, and no one's saying shit. No one's narking on them. And Bill's supposed to kill him, but he just leaves him in a field.
That's nice of Bill, isn't it?
Brandon's poor little penis is just a black hole of damage.
Awful.
He's passing out. He wakes up. He's crawling. He has no voice. There's this whole just Texas death crawl, as he puts it, which sounds terrible. You had me at Texas. Sounds terrible.
Yeah, already.
He's naked. He's disfigured. He hits a fence and he stretches himself out so that someone sees him. Like a flayed man stretched out on a cross, begging for someone to see him. Incredible. I think I would fetal position it at some point.
I would definitely fetal position it. There's a lot of biblical imagery. Have you noticed?
I just thought that right now, that he hung himself on a fence, like Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior.
And, and getting, like, tortured and...
Oh, shit. Do you think he fancies himself a Christ figure?
Yeah, right?
He's hanging on the barbed wire. The barbed wire is above his head. Yeah, there's definitely Christ imagery there.
Yeah, isn't there?
He's literally minutes away from death. The officer shows up, says, "Where's the heroin?" He's in an ambulance. He's saying his friends did this to him. Can you imagine saying, "My friends did this to me"? His groin is swollen beyond recognition. And it turns out that there was some sort of drug in the Eucharist drink or ball or whatever, however you take it. And he was just injected everywhere in his body.
All sorts of stuff.
Guinea pig. And they don't know what it was.
They don't even know what.
Like, what the fuck? Well, we could keep doing tests and trying to figure it out, but your insurance ran out. So bye. Fuckers. His parents don't want him. They put him in his sister's house. They do not want to raise this kid at all.
You're good.
I'm just kidding. I'm sure his parents love him. Crystal and Todd go to Burning Man. They basically long story short, they get arrested. They turn state's evidence against, or Bill and Crystal turn state's evidence against Todd to get themselves a reduced sentence. Todd is the one that has to go to prison. And Bill makes amends to Brandon, and Brandon was madly in love with Crystal, but he finds out that she was involved in the kidnap and torture, and his pain is so dire, and I kind of loved this part for him. His pain is so dire that in an effort to sort of cope with the pain, he starts imagining how he's going to murder Crystal.
It's the only way.
It's not a recommended way, but it is a way to get through the pain, or to like fall asleep at night. Like Arya, you never watched Game of Thrones, but she had this like death list. She would just like list all the people she was going to murder to get revenge. So she'd kind of like lull herself to sleep in front of the fire, just listing the people she was going to murder one day.
It gives you peace. You know?
Yeah, it made her feel good. So, you know, he is between, I either got to murder this bitch or I got to forgive her, because these are the only two options, right, T?
I guess those were the only two. I can't think of any others.
I can't kill her. I got to forgive her.
That's with our forgiveness. We're always forgiving. I don't know. It's another instance where I'm just like, I don't know.
Would you murder her?
Why? I don't. So I feel like maybe I won't murder her, but I might not forgive her.
This would be devastating to me. You know, he really fancies Crystal, his soulmate, and it sounds like they were really close. And to find out that he was just sort of another cog in the wheel for her, that the relationship didn't mean as much to her, that she could easily turn on him, maybe for the sake of science or for the sake of whatever God wanted.
Yeah, why? Do we know why they did that?
Science, I guess. So the hardest people he had to forgive were himself and Crystal, and he affords grace to others as he would hope grace is afforded to him. Just being young and dumb, stupid, on gratitude. And he says that he is still in extreme pain, and he's excited to be fully healed one day. And I think, and tell me if you think this is right or wrong, I think without saying it, I think he was saying that he's believing for God to fully heal him one day.
It's been a couple decades, right, since?
Yeah. Does that not sort of break your heart to think that he's
really,
in pain, waiting for God's divine healing to show up in his body?
Yeah. It's been going on for so long, and he's in excruciating pain still.
And part of me is worried that maybe he doesn't take any kind of painkillers because he wants to be sober. But he also might be in that vein of Christianity of like, we don't want to take pills because that would be, you know, stabbing God's healing in the face or whatever. If he's waiting around for God to heal him, I feel sad for him. And some years later, he is able to get married, and he's got 3 boys. Crazy.
And it really is a miracle. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
With his injuries.
Yeah. Totes. And who knows what the fuck he was injected with. The fact that
injected with gangrene?
Yeah, and he kept his fertility. Just amazing.
Yeah.
He says his life is God's life. PTSD is a battle. True. He has a hobby farm.
Yeah.
And this is probably the most true thing he says the whole time. Loving animals helps us heal. Absolutely agree. Could not agree more. That's probably going to bring him more healing than God. He talks about God loves and likes him. God's a resource and a companion.
Just going through that part. Yeah.
I get it. These are his takeaways from it. I guess I was hoping to hear more about, I don't know, maybe harder truths to say or to accept. I think it can be sort of, it reduces the impact, or it's just easy to chalk it up to God. I'm going to give it to God, and God's going to get me through it, and thank God for God and all that stuff. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of,
maybe for you, maybe not for him.
No, I know.
But you know, my strategy with stuff like this is,
you are God.
Yeah, I always replace God with myself. Not that I have a God complex, but I'm saying it's like I like myself, I love myself, you know?
Okay.
That kind of thing.
But he's not wrong about this. A positive mental attitude is crucial.
You gotta be.
You gotta have it. I'm a little whiny, fucking complaining
yes,
all day, every day, and it's getting me nowhere.
Nowhere. You're still there.
Still here, doing the same shit.
And then me, you know,
And then me
positive.
doing
I won
things.
the spelling bee, you know.
Still here with me doing this shit. See?
See?
Two sides of the same coin. You don't know what you're going to get.
Good luck.
But it's definitely going to be like me, or it's definitely going to be like T. Choose accordingly.
Both are great. Both are just, either way,
gonna be great.
lovely ways to be.
Thank you for listening. This has been an episode of Trauma Bonded. You can find our show where podcasts are kept. Please rate and review us. Thanks to Brandon for sharing their story and giving us the opportunity to talk about it. And thanks to the This Is Actually Happening team, including Whit, Missildine, and Andrew Waits, and the maker of our music and website, Nathaniel Trimboli. And thanks to Cathy Sites for editing this episode, and Katie Capel for those blasted Instagram posts. Gorgeous, Katie. Gorgeous. I mean, I know you're not listening. Gorgeous. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. You can contact us at Gmail. You can find us on Instagram. We have a website. We are trauma bonded to the story, to the storyteller, to the listeners, and to each other. Thanks for spending time with us today. Love you, T.
Love you, Elly. Good job. Hey, thank you.
Hey, thank you. Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Trauma Bonded.